and the only thing that they can turn their head to is goddamn NFTs. They are the
Yes,
ones that did
exactly.
this.
And that's what happened. That's what exactly is happening.
Welcome everyone. Yeah, we
Hello,
already
everyone.
kind of started. Yeah, so welcome everyone to NFT11's first podcast. Very happy to have Altura here with us, doing this podcast. Thank you for coming on, Maxim.
Very happy to show.
Maxim, maybe you want to introduce yourself a little?
Absolutely. So, hello, everyone. My name is Maxim. I'm the COO of Altura. And I'll give you a little bit of background on me. I'm from Toronto, Canada. I got into crypto in 2016, initially mining cryptocurrencies. And then I ventured in, I created an educational program where I went around US and Canada teaching middle school, elementary school students about crypto, building computers and cryptocurrency mining. And then I met my partner, Majd, and the rest is history.
Awesome. Just to clarify, what age group is that was learning crypto?
It was from five. It was actually a pretty big age group, but there were some bright students there. So it was from 5 to 15 on the top
Wow.
end. Yeah. So I designed it to be very hands-on.
Right.
So you basically would allow any student. So I'd get the bigger, like the older students to kind of say, okay, kind of guide the younger ones, but everyone was on the same page, which I was trying to do. Because it's very tactile, right? Building a computer, you're putting your RAM in, you're putting your CPU in, right? Like you have to be careful, obviously, but it's a very tactile thing. It's something that is all ages can understand if they're guided through it, I think.
Right. So do they just learn how to build the mining rigs, or is there like a syllabus where you go into the basics of crypto, educating them about crypto?
Yeah, so like it was like the session I designed was basically around a 4 hour in like a tactile session. So basically we'd have them come in. I would tell them about cryptocurrencies, cryptocurrency mining, what the components of a computer actually do when you're mining cryptocurrencies, what they what the functions are. It's quite basic. Like I don't want to really go that much in depth, obviously,
Right.
because like there's no point. Like,
Yeah.
but,
Sorry, I digress because I used to be a teacher, so it's
yes.
really interesting. Yeah. That's really cool though. Starting at such a young age. Those are gonna be some very lucky kids, because I think all of us in the industry know that this is the future, right?
Yes.
So yeah, definitely blessed there. Awesome. So thank you again, Altura and Maxim, for coming down for this podcast. Very, very excited to have you here. Let's talk a little bit about smart NFTs. So, I'm really curious as to when exactly you kind of got the idea of NFTs or stumbled upon NFTs, because we all know that the crypto market kind of started and crypto started without all of that. The basic Bitcoin and all that came out first. And yeah, so I'm wondering when you found out about crypto. When you found out about NFTs, and when exactly did you decide, hey, I'm gonna make this thing smarter now?
Sure. So I originally actually knew about NFTs in 2017 with CryptoKitties. I saw this and I was like, I don't like this. Like, what's the point? Why would I buy a JPEG? Okay, that was my. This is like why. But the thing is, the concept that didn't struck me at that time was a concept of proof of ownership, right? And that's what NFTs allow. They allow you to prove ownership of your asset in a digital plane. And so that kind of realization became more in 2021. So the beginning of 2021, I started I was at the time, I was not really doing anything with Majd, but we were friends and we were just kind of casually talking about the space. And we had ambitions to do something big, but we weren't, entirely sure what that was going to be. But we looked at the concept of NFTs and said, look, there's a proof of ownership here, concept that's interesting, but what are the flaws with the system, right? You mint it, it's static, right? So you want in the digital world, you want a system where it proves you have, ownership of a sword in a video game. You have ownership of this. That's a great system. The concept of that is good, but given considering gas fees. If you want to change the properties of that sword, if it changes within a game, which happens a lot, you have different items and different assets in game that are constantly changing.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? And so how would you solve that, right? Like without a smart NFT, you would have to burn it, you have to mint it, burn it and mint it. And then the economics becomes unbearable. It doesn't work because of the gas fees, right? So you're like Ethereum, forget about it. But even BSC, you're talking, 20, 30, it depends on the day, but dollar to 10 cents, that adds up, right?
Yeah,
like that will, so the smart NFT system that we kind of developed was said, okay, what if assets could dynamically change, right? And have your sword that, change in game will change dynamically on the NFT.
Right.
And they said this is a solution for, it's gasless, right? There's no gas required to change there to make that properties happen. And well, that was kind of the concept that we were thinking of at the time. So Maj and I were like, he's pitching me the concept of dynamic NFTs. I'm like, let's call it smart NFTs. It's like, yes, that's fantastic. And then he kind of wrote a technical roadmap at the time. So how we're going to do it. And we kind of followed through and here we are. And we're powering through our API, which is wonderful.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So, speaking about this proof of ownership, and I can't help but feel that I thought the same thing also when I first discovered NFTs, JPEGs, right? Right click it, save it, and now I own your NFT, right? Whatever you paid $100 for. And but I think a lot of the misconception comes from the fact that we don't see what's going on behind that, what else is in the contracts. So aside from proof of ownership, where else do you see NFTs or why do you think NFTs are the next leg in the game?
The thing is, there's two reasons, right? And so this is kind of like the business standpoint of Altura. So number one, gamers don't actually have control over their own assets. So in games like CSGO, where their in-game item economies are massive and items can sell for hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars for some skins, you don't actually have control over that asset. The control is really dealt by the game developer. And what happens if the game developer doesn't like you, breaks your terms, you break some terms of service, and now you have a portfolio and you lose everything. And that's happened before, right? That's not rare. That is something that happens, right? And so what this enables, a system like this would enable security for gamers, so they actually have security over their assets. But let's not forget the game developers here, because they're also here to make some money, right? So what are their methods of making revenue off this? Well, they get a secondary transaction they get royalties of every secondary transaction, right? And so that enables a great revenue stream that otherwise they wouldn't have been able to tap, because it's off, sketchy marketplaces, all these items are traded. This is a method where a gamer benefits. Even if they can't play the game, they should at least have access to their assets. And the game developers can make great revenue from their secondary transactions. So we're just trying to create a platform where this can be possible.
Awesome. Yep. And I think that's the way to move forward, in this whole GameFi space. And that's exactly what NFT11 is doing as well. We saw, I'm not sure, but do you play Football Manager, or have you played any games like that?
I have not, but my friends have been very dedicated on the FIFA front for many years.
Yes. Right.
But I have not personally.
Any particular games that you dive into?
Me? I'm a Civilization 5 guy.
Okay.
I'm one of those people.
Right. The RTS and the grand strategy. It takes patience for that game, man. I respect Civilization.
Yeah, well, look, the reason I haven't started going into Civilization 6 is, first of all, I don't have time. And so I haven't opened Civilization 5 in like since I've actually started, since Altura, I actually haven't played Civilized. It's too much of a time suck, and I can't do that.
Yeah.
And even if I wanted to learn a new one, it takes like 15, 20 hours to actually learn how to play these games. So, I've clocked enough hours in Civilization 5 that I can always go back and figure it out. But the next ones, no, I can't.
Yeah, but I've seen it. It's so immersive. I think even if you want to set aside an hour of gameplay a day, it's not gonna happen. Like, you're gonna get sucked in.
Yeah, that's why I don't even touch it. It's just like no.
Right. Yeah. Well, I've been binging on a little bit of Elden Ring because just came out. Yeah.
You're right. I know everyone's talking about it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I grew up on Dark Souls and yeah, I played all of the Dark Souls games, so I had to get my hands on Elden Rings. Yeah, but you see, games like this, right? That's it. I hit that uninstall button, and boom, it's all gone. Of course, now we have the cloud, and it's saved on Steam and things like that. But yeah, you never really get ownership of that asset. All that grinding, all that hard work, that pain, that you go through, dying 1,000 times, and there's nothing to show for it, honestly.
Right? It is brutal, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Right, and I think the GameFi space also allows or at least smart NFTs and the concept of NFTs in games allows for something that has already been done, because people sell accounts out there. People train up accounts, level up their accounts, get into ranking systems, and they sell these accounts on their own. And unfortunately, there are also scammers out there, who sell accounts and try to rip people off. But I think with NFTs and smart NFTs, this is opening up a whole new avenue for people to do it legitimately and on the blockchain, where it can all be recorded. So I think that's the beautiful part of smart NFTs. So back to smart NFTs and Altura. What exactly, what are some of the challenges that you had to kind of jump over, and or the difficult things about creating a smart NFT or contracts that deal with smart NFTs?
Yeah. So the thing is that I'm not the best person to talk about this, just giving you like a forefront, because I'm not on the technical side.
The dev. Yeah.
But essentially, I feel like we're just, what our goals are as Altura is to create a really great professional marketplace experience. So right now, and that professional marketplace experience is to be catered towards our partner projects and clients, right? The thing is that right now the NFT market is really, really on the consumer side. So it's designed for our consumer-facing audience and market. And we're seeing that there's kind of a gap for really professional marketplace experiences, where we essentially create, have the API, which kind of what enables smart NFTs, and the NFT marketplace to work in conjunction and to kind of build off each other, essentially. And so I would say, on the technical side, we had a couple of issues of syncing when we first launched the marketplace. There's like syncing blockchain data, but that's been fixed. It's been a lot of development and a lot of processes for that. And I feel like there haven't been, I would say, major challenges in our road, like in the steps, but it's just taken a lot of time to create a product that works and consistently works.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we are kind of really we've made it, but we're trying to make it even better and even better for our projects that work with us. Right?
Yeah, I think it's a step-by-step process, right? I mean, just like how NFT11 is creating the game, there definitely going to be hurdles, and especially in this new space, there's no textbook, there's no manual about navigating this entire space. It's something completely new. So yeah, I mean, it's honestly exciting, but at the same time, it's pretty scary.
Yes, we're writing the manual right now, so it's great to be a part of that manual, right? But it's like we have a huge launch coming. We have our marketplace V2, which I'm extremely excited for, because it puts our marketplace in the likes of OpenSea and on sort of that front, which is fantastic and Rarible. We've really taken a lot of work to make it a really great experience for everybody, and including we're releasing also API v2, right? So that's going to work with, there's going to be more endpoints for developers to use, and for their NFT functions within their game. So awesome. It's exciting, and that's happening very soon. So.
Very soon, yeah. Okay, I can't wait for it. I mean, I love the marketplace. I love the look of it right now as it is, and yes. I think we're just looking to improve it and make it better. Same thing over here with NFT11. We're trying to create this entire immersive football experience for our gamers, and diehard soccer fans out there, they really put in their heart and soul into games like Football Manager, managing their own team, each and every player, looking at their stats, making sure they're trained well. And I can't help but feel that if it's not an NFT, it's just not doing them any justice at all.
Yeah. No, 100%. And that's why I'm really passionate about this kind of system and games really taking off. I think it's going to take some time. It's really new, right? I think there was 200 blockchain games last year, right? Active blockchain games. And now there's just over 400 that are, have one transaction over 24 hours. So they're not, it's kind of a low bar, I would say. Right. So there's still a lot of growth that I think is yet to happen, and I think we're going to see explosive growth, especially around gaming economies. And right now, there's a lot of models that are not sustainable, and I feel like when the models not like we go from a play to earn to a play and earn kind of system and model, where you're not expecting to make revenue, but you can there's chances to make something there and there depending on what you do. Yeah. And I feel like creating those sustainable systems and kind of finding the right market fit will take time. And I feel like but I think eventually there will be that time where these types of games and platforms really shine.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason why play to earn became such a dirty word, because it kind of gave people the wrong expectation, and they thought that they could just come into this game, grind day in day out, and if I can grind for this period of time and earn $100, then I can do it perpetually. And if you look at game economics and the way the token system works in some of these games, it's just not sustainable, and it's not gonna happen. Yeah. So I think there's a lot to learn, from the pioneers. Obviously Xe is the big one that comes out, right? Everyone's seeing how SLP is tanking right now. And we're starting to realize that maybe a dual token system isn't exactly sustainable, and I think we owe it to them also for paving the way and testing the waters, so that those that follow on behind them, they have a lot more. There's less trial and error in that sense, and I think these games are the ones that are ultimately going to rise up in the market.
Absolutely.
So let's go back to Altura and NFT11. What were your first thoughts actually when we approached you and we started talking about smart NFTs and seeing where we can partner up and see how our NFTs can become smart, essentially?
Absolutely, yeah. We looked at it like at a lens, right? So we're working together. We go for a project, right? We look at, okay, what's their game? How do you think smart NFTs, can they, kind of work, and how could it benefit the ecosystem? So the kind of the mindset we have, right? When our business development team goes out and says, okay, this is basically what smart NFTs are, and this is our API where you can integrate NFTs within your game and have all these great functions. Where could this best benefit the project we're talking about? right? And so I feel like this is a very collaborative and in-depth process that we do with our partner projects, like like top like ideas like creating like an NFT soccer ball that has advantages within a game, for example, right? Maybe it's it becomes fiery if you have this advantage or this property, and those properties can change, right? So there's a lot of great ideas that wouldn't be possible without smart NFTs that are now unlocked and possible that can be explored by both projects to best develop and help each other.
Right. Yeah, so when it comes to NFT11, we're also looking at things like that. Back when I was on the drawing board, we were sitting down and we were talking about how we want our players to develop over time. And the beauty of smart NFTs is that it's not just in the metadata, right? You can essentially have them change the look of the NFT, right? So in the future, if I'm training a particular player, I'm sending him on sprints and just working his quads, perhaps then that NFT will display more muscular quads and the body structure will change, right? So all of this is possible. Yeah
100%. It's great. You can change the models. You can make yourself more about, I feel like a great thing, we're all smart NFTs because we all are dynamically changing. So
right.
We can put it now. Characters and items also have the same traits that we do. They can change and make themselves better. So,
and I think that's where this whole metaverse concept comes in, because if you want to create something like a metaverse, then it has to be dynamic. It can't be static. If you want changes within the ecosystem, you can't expect to manually go in and change it each and every time. And like you mentioned, if you're gonna do that to a traditional NFT, then you're gonna spend like a ton of money on gas fees to mint and burn all of these things just to produce those changes. And I don't think that's sustainable either. So I think this is the way we are going to build the metaverse of the future. Whenever I speak of the metaverse, I can't help but be reminded of Ready Player One. Have you seen the movie?
I have seen that movie. That is a wild movie.
Is it did it give you any inspiration?
Honestly, no, actually, but it kind of it worked out in the future. I'm like, oh yeah, like later I was like, oh yeah, like that there's a connection there. I do see that.
Right.
But it's I don't know, I'm just like, I feel like the concept that they're portraying would benefit from smart NFT, like on an infrastructure level, right? Like on a back-end level, right? And it's just the future has lots of possibilities, and we're happy to be a part of that future, right? And develop with that future, and whatever that means, because it might not be like Ready Player One. It could be something else, right?
Right.
And just being. But
exactly.
The concept is still there, right?
For sure. I mean, same thing here with NFT11. We eventually want to have people able to come into our stadiums, put on VR headsets and watch their matches live. And I mean, it's the whole immersive experience. It's what's gonna draw you into these games, and it's what's gonna make you want to play these games and have fun playing these games and play and earn. On top of that,
Non-Fungible tournaments for the win.
Yes, exactly. I can't see how games are not going to be GameFi. It's like, why wouldn't you want it to be? Why would you want to stick with traditional games when you can always own your own assets, literally owning a portion of the game, and as you put all your heart and soul into this game, why wouldn't you want to earn a little bit of something, even if it's
small?
Something small.
Exactly. You get items, you get things and you look, time is money, and if you dedicate your time into something, and if people value that game just as much as you do, there's assets within that game that are going to be worth a lot. Like skins don't do anything in CSGO. They don't do anything. But yet, if you don't have the camo super rare skin, you're not regarded as anybody important, right? So
Right. I'm,
So-
I'm a bit guilty here because I spend a ton of money on skins as well. Yeah, I'm a League of Legends player. I've been playing it
Okay.
since like for 10 years now, I think. And yeah, I think I've thrown like at least $10,000 into the game on just skins. I don't know. It's like $1,000 every year. That's my benchmark.
it's funny though, because it's like that doesn't like before like the NFT craze, like that doesn't
Right.
even like that would sound insane. But now
Right.
now it's like, oh, okay, like because there's some other crazy stuff going on right at the same
Right.
time.
and it puzzles me why gamers are so against NFTs and you know the whole GameFi space.
I can tell you why.
Right.
I absolutely can tell you why. Because it's being forced upon them. They don't, you don't really have a great concept. And if you're forced upon something, if I was personally forced upon doing something, I would just want to reject it.
Right.
Like just looking at human, like just basic human principles.
Right.
Like if someone's trying to force you to point to something and you don't like it,
Right.
then obviously, and I feel like there's like the value of what we're bringing here isn't what the rest of the NFT market is like. Right? The NFT market right now, there's like a lot of high profile, misdemeanors like Pixelmon raised $70 million in an NFT sale. They haven't tweeted in 2 months. How is that? They haven't tweeted in 2 months. How? What?
Yeah.
Like that's insane. Like no wonder people don't like it, because there's just people are getting smacked left and right, and then the real work that we're trying to do in terms of creating these great communities, these ecosystems and platforms where we can develop and grow each other, becomes a little bit more difficult when people see all these, and get affected by these.
Right. You're letting the rotten apple spoil the barrel, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And so I feel like I think it's inevitable. It's just a matter of time. And it's just a matter of just adoption and people actually understanding all facets of it. I feel like just people are seeing one aspect of it, which is not going to be the best aspect, but eventually I feel like they're going to see a more positive view of it because they'll see the benefit, right? And people want to see where they benefit. And so they'll see the benefit from this. I believe.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm hopeful for it as well, and NFT11 is doing its part in that as well. So recently, one of our other partnerships that we have is with this local marketing group called Ice Cube, and we're setting out to educate the public, the mass gamers actually, about NFTs, about NFT gaming, the healthier side of it, and the not so scammy and hit and run kind of projects.
I just find it so crazy that these people can do it on such a large scale and then just run it. Like that's just like it blows my mind that I hope those people will be accountable, because that like that's just like, but I feel like still it's important that there's real value being built, and I think that just will take a bit, but it'll be there for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of games have to tread carefully and approach the space in a right way. Communication is really key, especially when your community is so used to something and then you suddenly just shoehorn NFTs in, and it's not the way to go about doing it. Like I remember I was playing this game Dead by Daylight, and it's a asymmetrical horror game. Basically it's one killer, 4 survivors, and the killer hunts down the survivors have to find a way to escape, and they release killers, and it's a really cool game because they buy the rights for all these killers. So you have people like Jason, Freddy, and Dead by Daylight. That's the game.
It's a multiplayer game?
Yeah, it's a multiplayer game, but asymmetrical.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. Screaming at night, with my friends, and running around trying to escape the killer. Yeah, and they brought a really cool character. One of my favorites, Hellraiser. Pinhead from Hellraiser, Yeah, and unfortunately they wanted to get in on the NFT trend and hype, and they released Pinhead as an NFT. And so if you bought the character, you will be given a Pinhead NFT, but it was just an NFT that had absolutely no application to the game or anything. It was just something thrown in, just because it's an
Yes.
NFT. And yeah, I think it's stuff like that really hurts the whole space and the concept of NFTs. And yeah, I
Yes.
don't think that's the right way to go about it.
One thing is like talking about not right ways to do it, gatekeeping. So if NFTs are used to gatekeep something, that's the worst thing. That's like, forget, like, even I'm angry when that happens, because it's like for example, there's the classic, like, I think rap album, The Chronic, right? From Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg,
Right.
Back in 1992.
Mm-hmm.
So they took it off of all the streaming platforms because they want to have an NFT playlist, an NFT album of these songs.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're just inhibiting people from actually listening to your music, which is, if you want to do that, that's okay. But I was like, there's so many great and amazing applications for NFTs. For in-game assets, general proof of ownership. I feel that will actually go beyond gaming, I believe, right? But this type of stuff doesn't make sense, and it makes life more difficult for people. I think the whole point of technology is to make life simple for people, or to create additional utility that people can do something with, make something happen with. And when you do this type of thing, it doesn't help anybody except, I guess, the person trying to make an extra buck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's what happens when greed takes over, and
Exactly.
money is your sole focus. Then you lose the whole spirit of it, and you just give NFTs a bad name, because now there's this whole fan base. They're this whole gatekeeping. They're blocked off on this thing, and the only thing that they can turn their hate to is goddamn NFTs, right? They're the ones that did this.
And that's what happened. That's what exactly is happening, right?
Exactly.
So look, it's gonna, like, I think it's gonna be, of course, in every new technology, there's trials and tribulations. Like, I don't know how many people said the internet was gonna fail, right? Like, a lot of people, right? A lot of people said it was nothing. We're gonna still be using our fax machines and writing mail, like, and then look where we are now.
Exactly.
Right.
There's always that initial resistance to technology, to adapt to it. And I think once we get past that short hurdle, there's of course going to be that whole bubble that pops, the .com era had it, any technological advancement always has it. And I think from that is where the phoenix kind of rises out of the ashes, and something else is born from all of that. And I think both our projects are one of those phoenixes. I shall be. Okay, not to toot my own horn or our own horn, but
it was like a poem. Okay, I was very well connected, so that was great.
So I mean, the thing is just, navigating this space, being honest with your community, not letting greed get the better of you. And I think that's the way to approach this whole space here.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with you. I really enjoyed talking. I feel like it's always good to, with a fellow project and someone that knows the space well, just to go through it and just see how it's going. And it was a good little recheck for me, and kind of
awesome.
It made me excited to see what we can do together.
Me too.
Yeah, it's great.
Thank you so much for taking the time, to have this conversation. I'm definitely looking forward to, what the future holds for NFT11 and Altura, and smart NFTs, how it's going to change the entire GameFi space and the way we look at games. And it's just there's so much possibility in this space, I think.
And we're happy to do it with you, if NFT,
awesome.
Help.
Likewise. Right.
Thank you.
any last messages for your community?
Any last messages? Any last messages? Whew. Well, this is interesting. I'll add this snippet of news. We're doing an initial NFT offering platform or game item offering platform on Altura. So
Nice.
we kind of had a system before where we had that, but we're creating a more formalized system within the ecosystem. And there's going to be more details about that soon. So
Ooh, great.
yeah, and so I feel like NFT11 could definitely be maybe part of that. So
Definitely. Our David James NFT Ultimate Player is definitely going to drop on Altura. Yeah, looking forward to that.
that's exciting.
Yeah.
That's very exciting.
Just a couple of months. I think we're looking at June for
Okay.
the launch. Yeah.
We definitely can help you out on that one.
Nice. Yeah, I think our community is looking forward to it as well. And our trailer is coming out next week. In fact, we're
Check it out. I want to check. You gotta send it to me. You can send it to me as soon as it comes out. Put it on Telegram.
Okay. There are some teasers that we're already releasing. I think we tweeted about that today, or you'll see it in our feeds tomorrow. Teasers
Okay,
are out.
wonderful.
Yeah. And David James is gonna watch it for the first time also, and I can't wait to see his reaction. So yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Wonderful. That's amazing.
All right. Thanks so much, Maxim, for taking the
Thank
time
you for
to
having me
have
on.
this
Really appreciate it.
conversation. All right.
Really appreciate it.
You have yourself a great day ahead. All right.
I will. Sounds
Okay.
good.
Take care.
See you, man. Take care,
See
man.
ya.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.